Oh man, I might have forgotten to properly test. So give me a second, because yeah, we are finally here, reunited. But I had not some problem. It was that I was simply doing other stuff meanwhile, and I ended up forgetting about testing the audio. So I hope we have a nice one. Yeah, yeah. It is working properly. It seems. So with that out of consideration, we can properly say that we have started streaming today. Amazing. We're continuing with our beautiful book, the Mahabharata. We left it and we were almost um, going to start the new chapter. No, the new. What is it? The second part. What is the proper name of this? Let me see. It should be here. Where? Here. The volume 2, basically. Or second volume. We were. Okay. As always, sorry for not doing it earlier. Hello, everybody. Welcome, beautiful lurkers, beautiful bot watchers, everybody who is present. Let us now properly start this. Mahabharata, Volume 2. We have to continue, as I was trying to say. We are over here on the start of all of this, on the Sabha Parva and Vana Parva, things that we are going to consider. It seems that we only will have the Sabha Parva completely and the Vana Parva part 1. So, well, as always, the writer of this keeps being Ramesh Menon. Not that many things to say so far. We have this. Um, The Mahabharata of Vedavyasa is the longest recorded epic of the world, with almost 100,000 verses. It is many times as long as the Iliad and the Odyssey combined, and has deeply influenced every aspect of the Indian ethos for some 4,000 years. The main theme is the Red War on Kurukshetra, but the epic themes with smaller stories and other stories within this, all woven together with a genius that confounds comparison. As its heart, it contains Krishna's immortal Bhagavad Gita, the Song of God. The Mahabharata embodies the ancient and sacred Indian tradition in all its earthly and spiritual immensity. Famously, what is found here may be found elsewhere, but what is not found here will not be found elsewhere. Many believe this most magnificent epic to be the greatest story ever told, yet the only full Indian translation of the Mahabharata into English in the 19th century one sorry into English is the 19th century one by Kisari Mohan Ganguly. More than 100 years have passed since Ganguly accomplished his task, and the language he used is now sadly archaic. This new volume series retells the great epic, line by line, in fresh, easily readable English prose. With it, we hope to bring the Mahabharata alive again for the contemporary and future reader. So yeah, that is basically what we keep exploring. We we went, let's say, on a tangent last time, and now we simply have to keep observing what is to learn from this. A very interesting book. Not that, yeah, nothing really to criticize so far. I mean, let's say like this: it has some things that could be criticized, but it is almost distasteful to do so because there is literally no real reason as to why it try to attack what are very easy to see flaws. Let's say like that. So yeah, we simply continue with what is left aside from this. That is here the complete Mahabharata, Sabha Parva and Vana Parva Part One. Well, in reality, I think the complete Mahabharata, what I just read, Ramesh Menon, Rupa Publications, India. Wow. And blah, 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 here. The views and opinions expressed in this book are the author's own, and the facts are as reported by him here, which have been verified to the extent possible, and the publishers are not in any way liable for the same. The digital edition published in 2012. Ramesh Menon asserts the moral right to be identified as the author of this work. All rights reserved, this ebook is sold, blah 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 blah. Anyways, for Gita Menon, yeah, he is somebody. But yeah, here we are. We have the contents, the brief introduction, and the acknowledgements as always. And after that, we finally start with the Sabha Parva. So yeah, as I was trying to say, mm, I almost forgot that we had to go through stuff like this the last time. But anyways, I mean, it is almost part of the process to explore things like that. Um, okay, very nice to see a kind of notation to make here. All of the because yeah, on the last volume, all of the cantos contained all the different what is it stories that have to deal not stories, sorry. All of the cantos were completely spaced out, and you have to search through 200 different cantos to find where you left. In here you have from 1 to 4, from 5 to 13, for from 14 to 19, and such. So it seems it is more compressed now. I mean, it is only one page. The other one was like two or three. So yeah, better than anything else. So yeah, with that, we finally arrive into some more text. A brief introduction. The last complete version of the Mahabharata to be written, blah, 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 will read about Kisari Mohan Ganguly being the last writer of this. The problem is that it is outdated. And here, more than 100 years have passed since Ganguly achieved his monumental task. Despite its closeness to the original Sanskrit and its undeniable power, in more than 100 years, the language and style of the Ganguly translation have inevitably become archaic. It seemed a shame that this most magnificent of epics, a national treasure, an indisputable classic of world literature, believed by many to be the greatest of all books ever written, is not available in complete form to the Indian or any reader in modern, literary, and easily accessible English, as retold by Indian writers. So we, a group of Indians, writers and editors, warmly and patiently supported by our publisher Rupa and Co., undertook a line-by-line retelling of the complete Mahabharata. For the contemporary and future reader, our aim has not been to write a scholarly translation of the great epic, but an eminently readable one, without by vitiating either the spirit or the poetry of the original, and without reducing its length. I mean, um, okay, I know that this is an explanation about what was the work done here, but there is kind of a problem, let's say. Yeah, only this, the poetry got lost in the translation itself, because there are a lot of rhymes, and there is almost none here that you can find. One of the few things that happen is the proper translation of the Mahabharata is almost rhythmical to a sense, if I do not remember wrongly, because I saw when I was interested in analyzing all of these texts that supposedly one of the most interesting facts of it is that you can see how it flows so naturally from the tongue. When here it is almost problematic to try and pronounce some sentences because the English language changes so many things and varies so much out of the structure that is utilized for the sake of being on English, basically. But I mean, in reality, even if it isn't as rhythmical or as poetical as it was the original one, it still has the other kind of poetry, the literary one, let's say, mm, where you find vivid descriptions and beautiful and completely deep mm, wordings of things that end up playing in the mind of the reader. So yeah, interesting in that sense. Now, let's continue with this. This is not a translation from the Sanskrit, but based almost entirely on the Ganguly text, and he himself did use more than one Sanskrit version for his work. However, as will be obvious, the style of this new rendering is very much our own, and our hope is to bring as much of the majesty and enchantment of this awesome epic to you as is possible in English. Okay, there it is. Basically that, yeah. There are some changes here and there, but it still tries to have the same spirit as behind. So yeah, after this we can finally start acknowledgements. Hashri Kumar and Kadambari Misra edited and proofread this volume of the Mahabharata. I am most grateful to them for their fine, painstaking work. Thank you, my brothers also. I wouldn't try to pay that much attention, but really, After having gone through the first volume, it truly is noticeable how hard it is to try and make something like this happen. Truly a painstaking experience as it is called here. So yeah, anyways, we're canonically on the Canto 200 and what? 220 something, I think. Yeah, I don't really remember. Anyways, we are starting from zero. Sabha Parva, Canto 1. Sabhakriya Parva. Sabhakriya Parva, sorry. Aum, I bow down to Narayana and Nara, the most exalted Purusha, and also to the Devi Saraswati, and utter the word Haya. My Sampayana said, then, in Vasudeva's presence, Maya Danava worships Arjuna and, hands folded, says repeatedly to him, and feelingly, Kaunteya, you have saved me from this Krishna in spade and from Agni Pavaka, who wanted to consume me. Say what I can do for you. Arjuna says, Great Ashura, even by asking, you have already done everything. May you be blessed. Go wherever you please. Be kindly and well disposed towards me, just as I am towards you. Maya says, Purushir, Purushavira. Oh my god, it has been so long since I found this word. Purusharishabha. What you say is worthy of you, exalted one. But, Bharata, I am keen to do something for you. Enjoy. I am a great artist, a Vishwakarma, among the Danavas, Pandava. Being so, I want to do something for you. Arjuna says, Sinless one, you think that I have saved you from death. Even if this is true, I cannot ask you to do anything for me. However, I do not want to refuse what you ask. Do something for Krishna. That will be enough to requite what I did for you. But Sampayana said, then Bharata Rishabha, urged by Maya, Krishna thinks for a moment about what he should ask Maya to do for him. Having reflected, Krishna, Lord of the universe, creator of everything, says to Maya, build a palatial sabha as you choose, O son of deity, O best among all artists, for Yudhishthira Dharmaputra. Indeed, build such a palace that no one in this world of men will be able to imitate it even after the closest inspection, within and without. Oh Maya, build a mansion in which we might see a blend of Deva, Ashura, and Manava styles. Maya becomes exceedingly pleased and readily agrees to build a magnificent palace for the Pandava, one truly like a palace of the Devas, returning, telling Yudhishthira everything that has transpired. Krishna and Arjuna bring Maya to him. Yudhishthira receives Maya respectfully, offering him the honor he deserves. Maya receives that honor graciously and holds it in high regard. O king of the Bharatavamsa, the great son of Diti narrates for the Pandavas the legend of the Danava Brishaparva. Then, after he rests a while, the that greatest of artists, after deep thought and careful planning, sets about building a great palace for the illustrious Pandavas. In accordance with the wishes of both Krishna and Prita's son, the Danava of untold prowess, on an auspicious day, performs the proprietary rituals of laying the foundation. He also pleases thousands of learned Brahmanas with sweetened milk and rice and with rich gifts of many kinds. Then, well, then measures out a plot of land 5,000 cubits square, enchanting and beautiful, and suitable for building an edifice which would withstand every season's exigencies. Um, yeah, I mean, one of the few concepts that appeared in my mind when I read this is maybe the reference is in something according to trying to have everything coexisting instead of us, let's say like that. Because even if it is something that exists in reality, the significance of a palace that combines almost three rivalries, that is the Devas, Manavas, and Ashuras styles, makes makes it feel like it like in some way it represents a union or a what is it? It isn't simply a union, a bonding of the three things that in the past were almost considered enemies, and for that same reason, it is that it feels incredibly amazing to see. And even more, it has so many, in other sides, yeah, it also has a feeling of being incredibly great. As, I mean, it was already told, this supposedly is one of the best um, artisans of the whole Mahabharata world, let's say, or Mahabharata epic. That is why I will say, if it represents trying to make peace and to conciliate all the existing things, let's say, it also represents the reality of, well, trying to go even deeper, it also has the acknowledgement of Krishna, who was called over here, even while being a, a mortal, he was called Krishna, Lord of the universe, creator here, creator of everything. So it almost represents uh, as if, let's say, one of the most important deities is telling men to try and have the three attributes coexisting, as it might as well be something interesting, I would say. The only kind of problem that I feel that exists is the notion of, while on one hand it might feel good, on the other it also has the reality itself of, in some cases, you really can't have, or it isn't that you can't, it is that rather it has an attribute of weirdness to it, in which you see and you try to make sense out of, let's say, you have to, yeah, yeah. What I am, what, sorry for getting lost on my own words, but um, this part is what gets me perplexed. Let's say, mm, no one in this world of men will be able to imitate it, even after the closest inspection. They are mortals still. Well, no. Sorry. Maya is an Ashura, something that is beyond humans. So, on one hand, that I guess, but on the other, why, let's say, a high entity will be talking about a concept such as leaving behind the rest of the mortals, when in reality, taking into accordance everything else, it almost mm, always was reconciling all the parties. As well, maybe the difference is that this is made by Krishna, somebody who is talked about as a god, or who is observed as a god, and that is the desire of a higher god, when in reality the human Arjuna is the one who stays completely humble, even reflecting the Ashura's interest of mm, doing something for him towards that god, let's say, but it doesn't really make it disappear or anything like that. Mm, I don't know. It is still somehow weird, but I would say it. Yeah, it doesn't stop being interesting, no matter what is the underlying text. But well, that is all I can say. Let me let me continue. I mean, yeah, very interesting as always. Canto 2, Savhakriya Parva continued. By Sampayana said, one day when he had lived in Kandavaprastha for a while, happily looked after with great love and affection by the Pandavas, Krishna, who is worthy of all worship, wants to see his father. He of the large eyes, who is due to worship of the universe, folds his hands to Yudhishthira and to Kunti, and lays his head at the feet of Kunti, who is his father's sister. So adored by Krishna, Rita sniffs the top of his head and embraces him. Krishna, illustrious Hirisheka, no, Hirishikesa, his eyes no feeling, goes to his sister Subhadra lovingly and speaks to her. Words true and excellent, succinct and apposite, and laden with goodness. The sweetly spoken Subhadra, in turn, worships him repeatedly. Her head bows and gives him many messages for her kinsfolk in her father's home, bidding farewell, sorry, bidding farewell to her, blessing her. No Varshaniya comes to Draupadi and Damya. The Purushottama pays obeisance, obeisance, what the fuck is obeisance? Anyways, the Purushottama pays obeisance to Damya and comforting Panchali takes leave of her to depart. Then mighty wise Krishna, with Arjuna beside him, goes to his cousins. Surrounded by the five brothers, he is as radiant as Indra among the devas. And he who flies Garuda upon his banner now wants to perform the rituals undertaking before leaving on a journey, and purifying himself with a bath, puts on fine clothes and ornaments. The Yadava Pungava, bull of the race of Yadu, worships the Devas and Brahmanas with garlands of flowers, mantras, prostrations, and with fine perfumes. When these are done, he that best of the good and the steadfast actually thinks of setting out. Krishna now emerges from the inner apartment and, coming out to the outer apartments, he offers Brahmanas, worthy of worship, vessels of gold, fruit and aval, parched grain, making them bless him copiously. He gives them rich gifts and walks around them in Pradakshina. Before continuing, I guess I was completely confused when I believed that Pradakshina was something that only women perform. I guess I will say almost sorry for not paying attention to that detail. I think I lost like 5 minutes last time because I was really thinking Pradakshina only happened when when females perform it. So yeah, I don't know. Sometimes may gets fuzzy. Continuing, finally, climbing into his exceptional golden chariot of blinding speed, which flies the flag of Tarkia Garuda and is laden with his mace, discus, sword, and bowsaringa and other weapons, and is yoked to his horses Sarbian Sugriva. The lotus-eyed one goes forth at a most auspicious moment, on a fine lunar day, during a propitious conjunction of the stars above. Out of love, Yudhishthira climbs into the chariot after Krishna and, asking Daruka the Sarathi to sit aside, takes the reins himself. Arjuna, also of long arms, rides in that ratha. He walks around Krishna and fans him with a golden gauntlet, white silken chamara whisk. Mighty Vimasena, with the twins Nakula and Sahadeva, and all the priests and the people of the city follow behind Krishna's chariot. Kesava Krishna glows like a great guru, being followed by his favorite Sishyas. Then Govinda embraces Arjuna tightly, speaks to him, pays homage to Yudhishthira and Bhima, and embraces the twins. He is embraced in return by the three older Pandavas, while the twins salute him reverently. When they have gone Kalpa Yohana, Krishna, subduer of hostile cities, respectfully asks Yudhishthira not to follow him anymore. Knower of every nuance of karma, Govinda now humbly worships Yudhishthira and clasps his feet. Yudhishthira quickly raises him up and sniffs the top of his head with love. When he has raised up the lotus-eyed Krishna, Yudhishthira Dharmaraja, son of Pandu, gives him permission to leave, saying, Svati. Krishna bids them kind farewell, promising to return soon. With difficulty, he keeps them from following him any further on foot, and then sets out for his home, Dwa- Dwavaraka, with joy in his heart, even like Indra returning to Amaravati from their intense love for him. The Pandavas stand gazing at Krishna's chariot for as long as they can see it. Later their hearts follow him, unsatisfied when he is out of sight. Finally, Pirita's sons, those bull among men, minds still fixed on Krishna, turn back to their city unwillingly. Krishna swiftly reaches Dwavaraka in his chariot, with the heroic Satyaki following him. Devaki's son, Sauri, with his charioteer Daruka, flies as swiftly as Garuda to Dwabaraka. Meanwhile, Yudhishthira, with his brothers and friends, re-enters his splendid capital. The tiger among men dismisses all his relatives, brothers and sons, and seeks to comfort himself in Draupadi's company. Krishna, received with worship by the greatest Yadavas, including Ugrasena, happily enters magnificent Dwabaraka. He worships his father, who is old now, and his radiant and gracious mother. He salutes his brother Baladeva, and then the lotus-eyed one sits down. Finally, embracing Pradyumna, Shamba, Nishatha, Charudeshna, Gada, Anirodha, and Banu, his sons and grandsons, Krishna goes into Rukmini's apartment. I didn't get why this is happening, so I am kind of having a hard time following. I understand that he left and all of that, but I really don't understand what's the point of him leaving. I guess I was going to say something kind of distasteful, like just to continue the story, but probably it is more like to keep on expanding. I will guess that by the end of the Mahabharata, either both sides, mm, yeah, one of the both sides conquers the whole world finally, or that all the existing, let's say, races get end up getting erased from the reality itself, from some kind of event. Yeah, yeah, I think that. But anyways, continue. After me drinking water, Canto 3. Sabhakriya Parva continua. Vaisampayana said, Mayadanava says to Arjuna, best of warriors, with your leave I must go now, but I will return soon. Upon the northern peak of Kailasa, near the Mainaka Mountains, once while the Danavas performed a great sacrifice on the banks of the Bindusaras lake of water drops, I collected a treasure of buried jewels and gemstones past compare. These I stored in the palace of Brishaparva, ever devoted to Dharma. If that treasure still exists, Bharata, Ba, Bharata, how do I pronounce this change? Bharata? No, Bharata. What? I never, I never saw it like this. Ba, Bharata. What? What the fuck? How do I say that? Shouldn't it be Bharata still? Like great man? I don't know. Sorry. Bharata, I will bring it back, and then begin building the magnificent sabha of the Pandavas, which I will embellish with every manner of rare, precious jewel, so it shall be celebrated the world over. Also, Kurunandana, I believe there is a great and fierce maze which the Danava king kept beneath the surface of the Bindusaras after slaughtering his enemies with it. It is mighty and heavy, studded with golden knobs, capable of savaging armies, and equal to 100,000 other maces. As the Gandiva for you, this mace is a worthy weapon for Bhima. Also, in the lake is a powerful conch shell, the reverberant Devadatta, which was once Varuna's. I want to bring all of this for you. So saying, to Partha, the Ashura goes from Gandhavaprastha towards the northeast, north of Kailasa. Amidst the mountains of Mainaka is a massive peak of gems and jewels called Hiranyasringa. Next to that sparkling massif is the enchanting lake called Bindu. Upon the banks of the Bindu, long ago, King Bhagirath sat in intense penance for countless years, wanting to invoke the Devi Ganga. Indeed, she is called Bhagirathi in the world after that king. There, upon the banks of that sacred lake, Indra, a radiant lord of all the created things, Bharatottama, once performed 100 Mahayagnas. He erected for their beauty, and not because it was ordained. Yupastamkas, sacrificial stakes, made entirely of gold and encrusted with precious jewels. When he finished the 100 sacrifices, Indra Lord of Sachi, had what he wanted. There, too, the fierce Siva Mahadeva, eternal lord of every creature, dwelt when he had created all the worlds, and is worshipped by thousands of Ganas. There, indeed, Nara Narayana, Brahma and Yama and Stanu, being the fifth, performed their profound sacrifices when 1,000 yugas come to an end. There, to establish Punya and Dharma, Vasudeva devoutly performed his sacrifices, which lasted countless years. Tens of thousands of stamhas, embellished with golden garlands and bedis, altars of shimmering splendor. Kesava sat there. Arriving in that place, Bharata Maya retrieves the great Sangha and the other crystalline and invaluable possessions of King Brishaparva. The great Ashura Maya takes Brishaparva's entire hoard, guarded by Yakshas and Rakshasas, fetches it back to Kandavaprastha, and there builds for the Pandavas a palace of incomparable loveliness, of unearthly craft, copiously encrusted with precious stones, which becomes renowned throughout the three worlds. He gives Bhimasena that best of maces, and to Arjuna the exceptional conch, at whose sound all living creatures tremble. The palace which Maya builds has golden columns, and is spread over full 5,000 cubits of land. It shines for leagues around, so it seems to dim even the luster of the sun, and it is like the palace of Agni, Surya, or Soma. Its radiance, which is a mixture of heaven light and this earth, is such that the edifice appears to be on fire, even like a bank of new clouds appearing in the sky. Maya's palace rises from the ground. The palace that Maya of Dolcinius built is fascinating. It is enchanting, built only with the rarest, most exquisite materials, with golden walls and arches, with the most beautiful paintings and hangings. Why, it has been said that it excels the Sudharma of the race of Darar, Dasarhas. Even the palace of Brahma himself 8,000 Rakshasas, called Kinkaras, fierce, with powerful bodies, blessed with untold strength, red eyes, ears pointed like arrowheads, well armed, and who can fly through the air, guard the Maya Sabha. Inside the palace, Maya sets a lucid tank in which he has lotuses, whose leaves are dark jewels and whose stalks are of clusters of bright gemstones, and other flowers which leaves of gold. Various waterbirds swim and frolic upon its water. Other resplendent lotuses adorn the tank, and golden fish and tortoises swim in it, and it is clear right to its bottom, where there is no trace of mud. Its water is transparent like glass. A flight of crystal steps leads down to the water from its banks, which drip, what drip, drip in the gentle breezes that make the flowers quiver. The banks of that tank are paved with slabs of priceless marble, set with pearls, and it is told that many a king who comes to the banks of the water mistakes it for solid ground and falls in. Diverse lofty great trees are planted all around the palace, verdant, their shade cool, and perennially in bloom, casting a spell of charm all around them. Maya creates artificial woods of scented trees, ever fragrant. Countless pools and tanks dot the great gardens, upon which chakravakas and karandavas swim. The breeze which wafts the fragrance of the lotuses that grow upon those waters, as well as of other flowers on land and tree, add to the joy of the Pandavas. Maya builds the palatial sabha in 14 months and informs Yudhishthira that it is complete. I mean, um, yeah, kind of hard to really say anything in particular aside from 14 months shouldn't be that long in the Mahabharata, taking into account that supposedly the kings of the race that comes from the Mahabharata itself are all beings that live somehow thousands of years or similar to that. So yeah, I wouldn't get it preoccupied with 14 months to build such an amazing palace. But yeah, I mean, very nice so far. very understandable, very good to see such an artistic display of skill. I will say one of the few things that I notice that I think lacks the description itself is the amount of space that it occupies. Or I will guess, as I don't understand neither what a Yohagna nor what a qubit means, I have a hard time following the different measurements that the book utilizes to talk about different things that exist. Let's say like that. But anyways, continue. Canto 4. Savhakriya Parva continued. By Sampayana said, Yudhishthira, best among men, feeds 10,000 Brahmanas payasa of sweetened milk and rice, mixed with ghee, honey, mixed with fruit and roots, and with pork and venison. He pleases those holy ones who have come from various lands, far and near, with delicacies seasoned with sesame, prepared with rare vegetables called hibanti, rice mixed with clarified butter, and many different meat preparations, indeed with countless dishes and every manner of fine drink. He gives them the most excellent robes and other garments, and fine garlands of flowers. The king gives them each 1,000 cows, O Bharata, and the voices of the gratified Brahmanas can be heard saying, "What an auspicious day is this!" so loudly altogether that what they say seems to resound even in heaven. Finally, having worshipped the gods with music and song, with many kinds of rare and wonderful perfumes and incense, the Kuru king enters the great sabha, where athletes, mimes, wrestlers, bards, and panegyrists begin to perform in turns to praise Dharma's illustrious son with their skills and art, thus celebrating their entry into the unparalleled edifice. Yudhishthira and his brothers take their delight within, like Indra himself in Swarga. Upon fine seats within that sabha, great rishis and kings from other countries sit with the Pandavas. Asita and Deval are there. Satya, Sarpamali, and Mahasira, Arvavasu, Sumitra, Maitreya, Sunaki, and Bali, Baka, Dalvya, Stulasira, Krishna Dvaipayana, and Suka, Sumanta, Jaimini, Paila, and we, the disciples of Vyasa, Titiri, Yajnavalkya, and Lomarharshana with his son, Apsuhomya, Daumya, Animandabya, and Kausika are present, as are Damoshnisha and Traivali, Parnada and Varayanaka, Mahayana, Vayabhyaksha, Parasarya and Sarika, Balivaka, Silivaka, Satyapala, and Kritasrama, Katukarna and Sikhavat, Alamba and Parihataka, the lofty Parvata, and the great Muni, Markandeya, Pavitrapani, Sahavar, Savarna, Baluki, and Galava, Kar, what? Kangabandhu, Raipia, Kupapega, and Brigu, Haribabru, what? Haribabru, Kaundiya, Bab, Babhri, oh my god, I hate this. Babaru Mali, and Sanatana, Kakshivat, and Ashiha, Nachiketa, Aushiha, and Gautama, Painga, Baraha, Sunaka, and Saindilya of Great Apasya and Punya, Kukura, Benuhangya, Kalapa, and Katha, these learned and virtuous sages, senses and minds completely controlled, and many others as numerous as the above, All masters of the Vedas and Vedangas, knowers of the law of Dharma, pure, taintless in conduct, all attend upon Yudhishthira Dharmaputra and delight him with their sacred discourses. So, too, many great Kshatriyas are present in the splendid Maya Sabha. The illustrious and virtuous. Oh no, oh my god, no. Uh, okay, it seems to not be that long. Anyways, so let me, as I said, so to many great Kshatriyas are present in the splendid Maya Sabha, the illustrious and virtuous Munhaketu, Vivardhana, Sangram, Sangramhit, Durmukha, the powerful Ugrasena, Kakshasena, great lord of the world, Kshemaka, the invincible, Kamatha, the king of Kamboja, and the mighty Kampana, who alone made the Yavanas to ever tremble at the mere mention of his name, even as the Bhagradhari does the Ashura known as the Kalakeyas, Hatasura, and the king of the Madrakas, Kunti, Pulinda, the king of the Kiratas, and the kings of Anga and Banga, and Pandria, and the king of Udgara and Anhaka, Sumitra and Saibya Parantapa, Sumanas the king of the Kiratas, and Chanur king of the Yavanas, Devarata, Buha, and Bimaratha, Srutayudha, the king of Kalinga, Hayasena, the king of Magadha, Sukarman, Chekitana, and Puru, the scourge of his enemies, Ketumata, eh, Vasudhana, and Vaideha, and Kritakshana, Sudkarman, Aniruddha, Srutayu of vast strength, the invincible Anuparaha, the handsome Karmahit, Sisupala with his son, the king of Karusha, and the invincible princess of the Vrishni race, all as handsome as Devas, Ahuka, Bripitu, Gada, Sarana, Akrura, Kritavarman, Satyaka, the son of Sini, and Bhismaka and Kriti, and the powerful Dyumatsena, those greatest of bowmen, the Kaikeyas, and Yagnasena of the Somaka race. All these Kshatriyas of untold prowess and might, vastly wealthy and well-armed, as well as many others, wait upon Kanti's son Yudhishthira in that sabha, all of them keen to minister to his happiness. Other great Kshatriya princes who have put on deer skin and who learned the Astra Shastra, the science of weapons, under Arjuna, attend humbly on Yudhishthira, O Rahan, the princess of the house of Vrishni as well. Pradyumna and Sambha and Satyaki, Duryodhana, Sudharman, Aniruddha and Saipya, best of men, and many other kings of the earth, thou, Lord of the world, wait upon Yudhishthira. Dhananjaya's friend Tumburu the Gandharva, as well as Chitrasena with his Gandharva ministers and many other Gandharvas and Apsaras, all skilled at music, song and dance, as also Kinnaras, masters of music, sing unearthly songs perfectly in beautiful voices, playing on unworldly instruments for the pleasure of Yudhishthira. His brothers and the rishis who graced that sabha. Truly, sitting in that great court, all these mighty heroes, Purusharishabhas of stern bows, men of unwavering dharma, wait upon Yudhishthira, even as the gods in heaven do upon Brahma. My god, it, it almost gets me dizzy to read so many fucking names. My man, let me see. Do I have to deal with more names? Just in case. Um, it seems there are some names, not that many. Like, yeah, not that many. It is more palatable than the last one, but it is incredibly long. What the fuck? This is already 4 pages long. 5? What? Why is this so long? I wanted to read this one, but it is going to take me more probably than what. No. I think I can. Let me see. What the fuck? Okay, anyways. Okay, I will try to read it. I will do my best to read this. And after this, canto, perdón. My man. What the fuck? Ah, okay, let me stretch for a little bit before continuing. Oh man. I mean, I like the text, but sometimes, as with almost every single story, it gets hard to really extract anything when there are, for example, here, a list of names, nothing else. I mean, I don't know, can I extract anything from knowing or from having like how many? 10, 20, 50, 100 different names? Can I extract anything from that? I mean, aside from, wow, these ones are present, like these ones are not. Kind of hard to really learn. But yeah, now let me continue. Canto 5, Lokapala Savhakya Savhak. Oh, what? Who do I say this? What? Lokapala Savhakyana Parva. By Sampayana said, while the splendid Pandavas sit in that sabha with the great Gandharvas, O Bharata, the Devarishi Narada arrives in that assembly. He who is a master of the Vedas and the Upanishads, he whom the Devas worship, he who knows the Itihasas and Puranas. Why? Who knows and is witness to all the Kalpas, who knows Nyaya, logic, and the great and subtle truths of Dharma, who knows exhaustively the six Angas. He is an unequal master at reconciling apparently conflicting texts and applying general principles to specific practical instances, as in interpreting contraries by reference to situational differences. Eloquent is Narada Muni, resolute, intelligent, and he has a powerful memory. He knows the science of morals and politics. He is profoundly learned, skilled at distinguishing inferior things from superior ones, at drawing unerring inference from evidence, competent to judge the correctness or fallaciousness of syllogisms consisting of five propositions. Indeed, he can successfully debate with Brihaspati himself, with fine and decisive conclusions accurately framed about Dharma, Artha, Kama, and Moksha. A Mahatman he is, and sees the entire universe on every side, above and below and all around, even as if it is before his very eyes. He is a master of both Sankhya and Yoga, and he is always eager to humble both the Devas and the Asuras by stoking subtle dissension between them. He knows thoroughly the science of war and treaty, is a master at judging matters not within immediate ken or obvious, as well as the six sciences of treaty, war, military campaigns, maintenance of posts against the enemy, and stratagems of ambuscades and reserves. Why, he is a perfect master of every branch of learning, fond of war and of music, will never shrink from any science or any deed, and possesses not just this, but countless other accomplishments. Having ranged many other worlds, Narada Muni arrives in Yudhishthira's Sabha, and the Devarishi, his splendor incomparable, his tejas immeasurable, comes, O king, with Parihata, Raivata the brilliant, Saumya and Sumukha, swifter than the wind toss, he arrives there, flying by Rishipata, and is full of joy to see the Pandavas. The Brahmana pays homage to Yudhishthira by uttering blessings over him and wishing him success in every undertaking. Seeing the wise Narada, Yudhishthira, knower of every nuance of Dharma, rises quickly from his throne, and his brothers as well, bowing low. Humbly, that king salutes the Muni in delight and offers him a lofty seat with due ceremony. The Pandava king also offers him cows and arghya, honey, and the other Pan- Pandava king also offers him cows and arghya, honey, and the other customary offerings. I knew that I was skipping text. He adores Narada with gifts of gemstones and jewels, his heart full of joy. Receiving all this worship, appropriately the rishis please, when the Pandavas and the other sages there have been all worshipped, him. Narada, who knows the Vedas perfectly, speaks thus to Yudhishthira about Dharma, Artha, Kama, and Moksha. Narada says, is the wealth that you earn being spent righteously? Does your heart take pleasure in Dharma? Do you also enjoy the pleasures of life? But does your mind sink under their weight? Lord of men, do you continue the noble tradition of Dharma and Artha by which your sires lived and ruled the three kinds of subjects, the good, the middling, and the evil? You must never wound Dharma for the sake of Artha, and never Dharma and Artha for the sake of Kama, which so easily seduces. Best of victorious men, always devoted to Dharma, nowhere of the timeliness of all things. Do you divide your time judiciously between Dharma, Artha, Kama, and the pursuit of moksha and Nakha, sinless? You with the six gunas of kings, do you attend to the seven ways which kings used to rule? Do you, after carefully considering the strengths and weaknesses of yourself and your enemies, scrutinize the 14 possessions of your foe, their country, forts, chariots, elephants, cavalry, foot soldiers, the principal officials of state, the harem, the store of food, their army's wealth, their religious beliefs, and their soldiers, their accounts of state, their revenue, the wine shops, and other secret enemies? Having examined best of kings, your own resources and your enemies, and having struck peace with him, then do you attend assiduously to the eight everyday occupations, agriculture, trade, and the rest? I hope, Bharata Rishabha, that your seven principal officers of state have not succumbed to the influence of blandishments of your enemies, or become idle and complacent because of their wealth. I trust that they are all loyal and obedient to you. I hope your secret counsels are never divulged by yourself or your ministers, or by your trusted spies who go disguised. I hope you're aware of what kind your friends and your enemies are engaged in. Do you strike peace and make war, each in its proper time? Are you neutral towards those who are neutral towards you? Kshatriya, have you made men like yourself, and old and sage, the restrained and continent, those who know what should and not be done, who are pure of blood and beard, and also devoted to you, your ministers? Mahabharata, the victories of kings are attributed to sage counsel. Child, is your kingdom protected by ministers who know the Shastras and who keep their counsel to you close? Are your enemies helpless to harm you? You have not, I hope, fallen victim to sleep? Do you wake up at the proper time, knowing what yields Artha? Do you consider in the small hours what you should and should not do the next day? Welcome. We are getting knowledge from from Narada Muni right now. We are seeing Hoki lectures Yudhishthira about his country. So yeah, let me let me drink some water. Not that I also take a break. I hope you neither take decisions by yourself nor consult with too many advisors. Do the secret decisions you take become known across the kingdom? Do you swiftly undertake such tasks? And did anything uh, did anything crazy happen this canto? Uh, yeah, uh, the most magnificent, let's say, well, not this one, but this whole reading session, yes. The most magnificent castle has been built. That is the short definition for it. The descriptions were, as always, incredibly vivid of imagery that plagues the mind with beautiful things to portray inside, let's say. So yeah, beautiful indeed. And obviously crazy because it was completely unworldly, as it was repeated, I think, like 5 or 6 times when it was being described. So yeah, that. ah, and well, obviously kind of crazy, I think, to get this kind of knowledge because Previously, before it started, Narada Muni was properly introduced finally to the story, like the most important guy or the most important mortal, in the sense of knowing the Vedas and the Vedangas and the Astras and the Shastras and the Upanishads and the Mahabharata itself and whatnot. So yeah, we're getting drops of knowledge, of wisdom here. Wow. But yeah, which are of great use and easy to accomplish. Are these measures never structured? Eh, no, wait, I skipped some text. Fuck. I hope you neither take decisions by yourself nor consult with too many advisors. Do the secret decisions you take become known across the kingdom? Do you swiftly undertake such tasks, which are of great use and easy to accomplish? Are these measures never obstructed? You do not keep your farmers out of your sight? Do you achieve your purposes through agents who are experienced, incorruptible, and trustworthy? Mighty King, I trust that the people only know about your undertakings that have already been accomplished, those that have been begun, and those that are partially completed, but nothing of those that are only being contemplated and have not been begun. Have you appointed seasoned masters, men who can explain the roots of events, and who know Dharma and every branch of knowledge, to instruct your princes and the commanders of your army? You must buy one learned man in place of 1,000 fools. It is the learned man who provides comfort in times of distress. Are your fortresses always stocked ample with food, with gold, food, weapons, water, in signs of war, arms, and other tools, as with engineers and bowmen? Even one intelligent, brave minister whose passions are under perfect control and who has wisdom. What the fuck? And who has wisdom and judgment can bring a king or the son of a king the highest prosperity. I ask you, do you have at least a single such minister? Do you seek to know everything about the 18 tirthas of your enemy and the 15 which are your own? Through 30 and 3 spies, all of whom must not know one another, Parantapa. Do you watch your enemies vigilantly and without their knowledge? Is the priest whom you worship humble, pure in blood, renowned, and without either envy or illiberality? Have you engaged in have you engaged a Brahmana of faultless conduct, intelligent and guileless, guileless, as well as thorough in the laws to perform your daily rituals before the sacred Agni? Does he inform you at the proper time when a homa needs to be performed? Is your astrologer skilled at reading physiognomy, interpreting omens, and competent to neutralize disturbances of nature? Have you engaged respectable servants to serve in respectable offices, indifferent ones in indifferent offices, and lowly ones in offices that are low? Have you appointed loyal, honest ministers, men born into bloodlines which are pure, superior, and noble for generations? You do not surely oppress your people with harsh and cruel punishments. Bharatari do your ministers rule the kingdom in accordance with your dictates? Do your ministers ever slight you like sacrificial priests slighting men who have fallen and can perform no more sacrifices? Or like wives slighting husbands who are haughty and incontinent in their behavior? Is your Senapati confident, brave, intelligent, patient, of good conduct and noble birth, devoted to you and able? Do you treat the chief commanders of your army with almost consideration and regard? Are they men skilled in every kind of warfare, bold, well behaved, and endowed with prowess? I think, yeah, I will guess you are finally out from the from the other hell. I haven't changed anything. I guess you. I will say like this, spiritual. You probably entered while the next adway was incoming. I have thought about what is it about setting up ads. No, what? And I think that tells on chat when the ads are going to happen. But I see it as kind of annoying because I like it when the chat is empty. If instead of having bots flooding it with constant text and similar. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe we can try to discuss that tonight. Maybe. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Aside from that, let us continue. I was here. X X. Yeah, yeah. Also, Stream Elements is working properly. I think. Yeah, yeah, yeah. We have also shut on screen, so yeah, it is working properly. My throat is dying. Sorry. Here. Do you treat the chief commanders of your army with utmost consideration and regard? Are they men skilled in every kind of warfare, bold, well behaved, and endowed with prowess? Do you engage your soldiers? What? Do you give your soldiers their sanctity? Oh my fucking god. Dog, stop distracting me. Do you give your soldiers their sanctioned rations and wages at the appointed time? You do not trouble them by withholding this. You do know that when troops are plunged in misery by receiving irregular or insufficient wages and rations, they are driven to mutiny, which the wise regard as among the most dangerous harms in a kingdom. Yeah, I mean, it isn't a puppy, it is just a tiny dog that has an squint voice, I think it is called, or something like that. So yeah, dog barking. Bow, bow, bow. But anyways, I mean, are ultimate noblemen devoted to you and are ready to lay down their lives cheerfully in battle for you? I hope that you do not allow any one man of unrestrained passions to rule many aspects of military concern pertaining to your army. Do you have any excellent servants, especially accomplished and of exceptional ability, who are disgruntled about not receiving some extra remuneration from you, as well as some more regard? I hope that you reward men of learning, humility, and mastery over every branch of knowledge with gifts and honor appropriate to their merit. Maharata Rishabha, I trust that you support the wives and children of men who have laid down their lives for you. Son of Pritha, do you cherish with a father's affection the enemy whom you have weakened or vanquished in battle, and the one who has sought refuge in you? Lord of the earth, are you equal to all men? Can anyone approach you without fear, even as if you were their mother and father? O bull of the race of Mahabharata, do you march against your enemy immediately, having thought well about the three kinds of forces, when you hear he is weak, subduer of all your enemies? Do you go forth when the right time comes, having carefully considered all the omens you see, the resolutions you have made, and the final victory depends upon the 12 mandalas? Parantapa, do you give gems and jewels to the main officers of the enemy as they deserve without your enemy's knowledge? Son of Brita, do you seek to conquer your inflamed enemies, slaves to passion, only after having first conquered your own mind and mastered your own senses before actually going to war against your enemy? Do you correctly use the four arts of conciliation with gift by creating dissent, with coercion, and only then with force? O king, do you march against your enemy only after first strengthening your own kingdom? And once having set out against them, do you then exert yourself to the utmost to triumph, having conquered them? Do you then protect them with every care? Does your army comprise the four kinds of forces, the regular soldiers, allies, the irregulars, and the mercenaries? Is each of these furnished with the eight necessities for war? Chariots, elephants, horses, officers, infantry, camp followers, spies who have a true knowledge sorry, throughout knowledge of the country and ensigns let out against your enemies after being well trained by superior officers? Parantapa, I hope you kill your enemies, great king, without regard for their seasons of harvest or famine. Rahan, I hope your servants and agents in your own kingdom and in those of your enemies attend diligently to their duties and watch over one another. O king, I hope you employ trusted servants to look after your food, the clothes you wear, and the perfumes you use. I hope your treasury, barns, stables, arsenals, and women's apartments are all protected by servants devoted to you and always seeking your welfare. I trust that you first protect yourself from your domestic and public servants, and then from the servants of your relatives, and then your servants from the servants of these others. Do your servants ever speak to you in the forenoon about your extravagant spending on wine, sports, food, and women? Are your expenses always covered by a fourth, a third, or at least half of your income? Do you look after your relatives, superior, merchants, the old and other dependents, and those in distress with gold and with food? Do your clerks and accountants come to you during the mornings every day and inform you of daily income and expenditure? Do you ever dismiss, for no fault, servants who are good at their work, popular and devoted to you? Maharata, do you employ superior, average, and lowly men after examining them thoroughly in offices they deserve? Rahan, do you employ men who are thievish or susceptible to temptation, who are hostile to you, or minors? Do you oppress your kingdom with thieves, greedy men, minors, or with women? Are the agriculturists in your kingdom contented? Have you got, have you caused large oh my god, have you caused large tanks and lakes to be created at fair intervals throughout your lands so that your farmers are never entirely dependent on the rains from heaven? Are the farmers in your kingdom wanting in seed or in food? Do you give loans generously to the tillers of the land, taking from them just a fourth of their produce in excess of each 100 measure? My man, what the fuck? What? I never saw this. 25% of tax. Let's say like that. 25% of tax. I don't know if it is good, if it is bad. 25. Child, are the four professions of agriculture, trade, cattle rearing, and money lending for interest conducted by honest men? For the happiness of your people depends on this. Rahan, do the five brave and wise men, those who watch over the city and the citadel, the merchants and the farmers, and those who punish criminals, always benefit your kingdom by working unitedly and closely with one another to protect your city? Have your villages been made like towns, the hamlets and the outskirts of villages like villages? Are all these entirely under your sway? If thieves and robbers sack a town, do your police hunt them through the flat and difficult parts of your kingdom? Do you comfort the women in your kingdom and protect them? I hope that you never place any confidence in them, nor divulge any secret to them. O king, having heard of danger threatening, do you, after thinking deeply on it, still lie in your inner chambers enjoying every desirable object? Having slept through the second and third yamas of the night, do you lie awake during the fourth division of night, reflecting on Dharma and Artha? Pandava, do you rise from bed at the proper time, clothe yourself royally, show yourself to the people with ministers who know which times are auspicious and which otherwise? Bane of all enemies, two men wearing red, armed with swords and adorned with ornaments, stand beside you to guard your person? Rahan, are you like Dharma Devak himself to those deserving justice men, and to those that deserve worship, to those whom you love, as well as those whom you do not care for? Son of Prita, do you seek to cure yourself of bodily sickness with medicines and by fasting, and mental affliction with the advice of the old and wise? I trust that your personal physicians are well versed in the eight kinds of treatment, and that all of them are attached and devoted to you. Does it ever transpire, O king, that from pride, folly, or greed you fail to decide between a plaintiff and a defendant who come to you from covetousness or neglectment? Do you ever deprive your dependents of their welfare or pensions, those who have sought refuge in you from love or in trust? Do the people who live in your realm, having been bought by your enemies and uniting against you, ever seek to pose or raise disputes with you? Do you suppress your weaker enemies with strong troops and wise counsel? Are all the men chieftains in your land loyal to you? Are they ready to lay down their lives for you at your command? Do you worship Brahmanas and rishis according to their proficiency at the various branches of learning? I say to you, such reverence is of the highest benefit to you, beyond any doubt. Have you what? Have your have you what? Have you faith in the Dharma based on the three Vedas, which was practiced by men who lived before you? Do you meticulously follow the precepts by which they lived? Do you entertain accomplished Brahmanas in your home with fine food and give them rich gifts with this feast? When this feast concludes, passions perfectly controlled, with undivided mind, do you strive to perform the Mahabharata and Pundarika yagnas with their entire complement of rituals? Do you worship your relatives and superiors, the elderly, the devas, rishis, brahmanas, and the lofty Nyagrodhkas, which stand in villages and bless the people in so many ways? Sinless one, do you cause anger or grief to anyone? Do priests who are able to bestow auspicious fruit upon you always stand at your side? Anaka, are all your purposes and practices, such as I have described, which inexorably increase the span of your life and spread your fame, and also further the case of Dharma, Artha, and Kama? He who conducts himself thus never finds his kingdom in distress or afflicted, and that king subdues the whole world and enjoys great felicity. Rahan, I hope that no man of good conduct, who is pure and respected, is ever ruined or has his life taken on a false charge or through theft by your ministers, either because they are ignorant of the Shastras or out of their greed. Purusharishabha, I trust that your ministers from Gid never free a real thief, having caught him red-handed with his booty. O Bharata, I hope that your ministers can never be bought with bribes, and that they never decide unjustly in disputes between the rich and the poor. Do you keep yourself free from the 14 vices of kings: atheism, untruthfulness, ang- anger, carelessness, procrastination, not visiting the wise, idleness, restlessness of mind, taking counsel with only one man, consulting men, unacquainted with the craft of arta, abandoning a project decided upon, disclosure of secrets, not accomplishing beneficial projects, and acting without reflection? These ruin even the most well-established sovereign. Have your study of the Veda, your wealth, your knowledge of the Shastras, and your marriage provided fruitful? Ah, man, finally. When the Rishi finishes, Yudhishthira asks, how, O Muni, do the Vedas, wealth, one's wife, and knowledge of the Shastras bear fruit? The sage replies, the Veda bear fruit when he who has studied them performs the Agnihotra and other sacrifices. Wealth is said to bear fruit when he who has it enjoys it himself and also gives away in charity. A wife proves fruitful when she is useful and when she bears children. Knowledge of the Shastras bears fruit when it results in humility and good behavior. Having thus answered Yudhishthira, Mahamuni Narada asks that righteous king, do your officers of government, who are paid from the taxes levied on the people, take only their just dues from merchants who come from distant lands to your kingdom, impelled by the desire to make profit? Are these Vaishyas, O king, treated with kindness in your capital and kingdom? Are they able to bring their merchandise here without being cheated either by the buyers or the officials of your government? O monarch, do you always listen to the wise and righteous words of old men who know the profound doctrines of Artha? Do you make the offerings of honey and clarified water to Brahmanas, which make the harvest bounteous, swell the numbers of kine in the kingdom, yield an abundance of fruit and flowers, and increase virtue as well? Do you always give the artists and artisans whom you engage the materials they need and their wages for not more than 4 months together? Do you inspect their work and praise them before good men, and also reward and honor them? Bharat, do you live by the precepts and aphorisms of the rishis, and particularly with regard to matters relating to elephants, horses, and chariots? Are the sayings which relate to the science of arms also those about the engines of war, so useful in towns and fortresses, studied in your court? Sinless, do you know the arcane mantras and all about the poisons which can kill your enemies? Do you protect your kingdom from fear of fire, serpents, and other feral creatures, from disease and rakshasas? knowing every dharma as you do. Do you care like a father for the blind, the dumb, the lame, the deformed, the friendless, and for ascetics who have no homes? Have you banished the six evils, O king, sleep, idleness, fear, anger, weakness of mind, and procrastination? The illustrious Kurupungaba Yudhishthira listens to what that Brahmanatotama says, then bows down and worships at Narada Muni's feet, delighted by everything he hears. The king says to Narada of celestial form, I will do all that you say, for you have swelled my knowledge with your counsel. Indeed, Yudhishthira does as Narada asks him to, and in time becomes sovereign of all the earth with her girdle of seas. Narada says, the king who protects the four Varnas, Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Sudra, passes his days in this world happily, and then attains the realm of Indra. My God! Perdón. My fucking god. That was intense. I guess, yeah, my brain got almost mushed by all of these texts. But yeah. We're done. Give me a second, I need to recuperate from all of that shit. Man, I guess I can't complain that there has been a lack of knowledge. There we have it, like four full pages of things to check oneself on. My bro, what an incredibly complex uh, paragraph that was. What a complete, utter, crazy thing to read. But well, we have finished this. We have for today. We have finished at the very least. So yeah, amazing. That is all I can say. Amazing, my man. Uh, my, I yeah. It is incredibly crazy to see stuff like this sometimes. I guess you can never really find that much knowledge in normal literature, but I guess also that is the funny thing of reading stuff like this to see and to find such counsel and such guidance almost. Because I would say, why not be good when the possibility is there? So yeah, aside from that, I would say we're done, my man. We're done for today. At least I am done for today. Yeah, I want to exit this place as fast as I can. My bro, what an incredibly complex canto that was. Well, I mean, I can't even say anything about it. I am happy that we read it, but I can't even say anything in particular about it, as it is, as I said, incredibly complex. So yeah, at the very least, we were able to go completely through it and to obtain every part of knowledge that there might be through the whole text, my man. Very, very nice. And very, as always, beautiful to do so. So yeah, I guess we might. I have my yeah my throat is kind of dying. So yeah, let us read someplace where um, we're going to read Olga Okami was doing something very interesting. Raise funding for games for love. So yeah, we are going to end this with that. Before I explode with so many knowledge, man, what a what a crazy text, what a crazy reading this was in particular. But yeah, as always, people, thanks for being here. Thanks for all. Thanks for the opportunity, for the time, for all of the things. It is always a pleasure to be here, and it is always a good thing to stay and to watch and to entertain ourselves, basically. But yeah, um, we might as well take our leave. We might as well decide to take a tiny break. And as always, thanks for being here, thanks for paying attention, thanks for looking, thanks for watching the VOD, thanks for every single thing. It is a precious gift to be here. It is a beautiful thing to enjoy such readings And yeah, now we simply decide to leave. Next time we will. Well, yeah. I mean, tonight we have something quote unquote interesting. So yeah, after until then, sorry. Stay safe, stay rested, stay hydrated, and yeah, good night, guy. Thanks. Now, Raid, who Olga, who is also playing again. So yeah, goodbye, goodbye. Thank you.